are 572-0383 and 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good night to our listeners and to our viewers in St. Lucia and across the globe. Those of you on Facebook, especially those of you on YouTube and on X and also on DBS Television, thank you so much for joining us. This is Hard Drive for today, Tuesday, the 24th of June. My name is Andre Paul, the co-host of the show. None other than the lovely Keena. Keena, good morning to you.
Good morning, Andre Paul. Good morning, viewers and listeners out there. Thank you so much for making us your station of choice, sending you kisses and all that love. Mwah.
So, all is well?
I'm doing great, actually. How about you?
I'm well. Let's apologize, of course, for
Tony not
being available.
Morning.
He has matters to take care of.
And he'll definitely be back tomorrow.
Once upon a time, I remember anytime these sorts of situations came up, the excuse or the explanation was he's on special assignment.
Well, he is on special assignment after all.
So Tony's on special assignment.
He is on special assignment, yes.
Yeah, so Tony, good morning to you. If you're listening, have yourself a nice one, whatever it is that the assignment entails. Right? And hopefully he'll be back with us tomorrow Wednesday.
Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, so anything you want to mention before we move on?
You've been saying it ever so often right here on the Rev-Up Center that whatever happens
the Rev-Up Center?
The Rev-Up, the hard drive, right? So you've been saying that time and time again that sometimes something might be happening in another part of the world and we do not know how it affects us right here in St. Lucia. And when we look at the situation with Israel and Gaza and also Russia and Ukraine,
that's right.
We do have St. Lucians that might be living in either one of the countries, and we don't think of them being impacted in any shape or form. And yesterday it somewhat hit home for me after Israel sent their missiles to Qatar, and my sister lives there.
You mean Iran?
Iran,
yes,
right,
Iran.
Sent it to over. And my sister lives there, and when she touched base and she started sending me the videos, and she was, we were having this conversation about it. And we as Caribbean people have this way when something is happening and it seems like chaos and everybody's running around, we somewhat remain centered. And that's one thing about her. She was very centered. She was very calm, cool-headed. And she says, I don't have anything to worry about. And actually that missile that was sent was like 5 minutes away from where she lived. And it really hit me at the time that, I did think about it before, but it never really resonated till that happened. And I was on air when she sent the first few text messages, and I was like, whoa. Right? And then I remembered you and what you said. You just never know.
Yeah.
Right? You just never, ever know.
And remember when this war with Ukraine started in Russia, remember the price of goods and commodities had gone up sky high.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And this is still affecting us up to today. If the Iranians decide to close that Strait of Hormuz, right, the price of oil is going to be going up, increasing exponentially. It is crazy.
Tremendously.
So when these things are happening, and because we figure we're miles away, it will not affect us. That is just not the case.
It's not the case.
The world is very small.
The world is very, very small. And it goes back to our parents always saying it. The world is a small place. You might think, okay, I'm just in St. Lucia, I'm in Castries, and I don't have relatives in Choiseul or in Beaufort or whatever. And you find out, hey, well, you know what?
Yeah.
Our family is huge.
Even in our environment, when we read about the Saharan dust,
before
right?
that happening as well.
This is from Africa.
Yeah.
Okay? So imagine if there's some kind of nuclear disaster or some war and some nuclear weapon is used, we are going to be affected.
We are going to be affected no matter what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
We will be affected.
So no matter where things are taking place, we are supposed to show interest and we're also supposed to care. Now, I just want to make a quick point on that before we move on, the issue of Iran. Now, you realize that the Iranians felt strongly that they should have responded to the Israeli attacks, which they did. Okay, they fired a lot of rockets into Israeli territory. There have been loss of life. not as much as loss of life in Iran itself, because Israel now is on another level.
Yeah.
These people, when they bombing you, they
They're really
bomb
going
you.
after you.
They
and
go
they're
after
bombing.
you.
They're
They make
going
no
after,
joke.
yes.
They make no joke. And they decided now, because they saw Iran as a threat to them and to the rest of the world, so they figure, let us deal with it, because these are the bad boys. Israel thinks that we are the bad boys of the world, that nobody can touch us. We have a powerful army, and plus we have the Americans who are going to support us no matter
us
what.
in every way, yeah.
So and plus, of course, you have other countries supporting them as well. So they're the bad dudes. But interesting, very, very interesting. And it's not the first time it happened. There was a skirmish between Israel and Iran earlier this year. And imagine when Iran responded, Iran actually made an announcement that they would be hitting certain targets.
Yes, they did.
They made that announcement. So it's almost like saying, okay, we are going to respond, but we're telling you in advance.
In advance, so be ready.
Be ready, so at least you can deal with the situation.
Right.
Right? Israel will never do that. That's one. You know, the United States attacked Iran.
Yes, they did.
Over the nuclear
Over the-
weapons
yes.
issue. They attacked them, and that's a fact. Now, Iran felt we need to respond. But you see again how the Americans, the Israelis are giving you the impression as though the Iranians are wicked and evil people. That's the impression that they're giving.
That's the impression that everybody's getting from that.
That's
But
right.
Iran was there pretty much. It's between them. Then Donald Trump made a statement saying that we know where the leader is, and he better this, and he made a threat. Next thing you know, over the weekend there was an attack, and obviously Iran will not just sit by and allow that to happen.
Exactly.
They will never.
Right.
Time and time again, we've seen this happen. They will not just sit by and allow something like this to happen, and they retaliate.
And that's the proper thing to do. Now, we may not agree with the tactics. It's just like being in a relationship. If you're in a relationship and your boyfriend is hitting you, for example, because we're not talking about husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, he's hitting you. The worst thing to do is to cower and accept it. Now, I don't mean you strike back. That's the one I'm talking about. I'm saying for you to stay in the relationship and you do nothing
about it.
You are sending a message to the perpetrator
That I accept this behavior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay? So you have to understand what's going on there with Iran. Even if it's the mighty United States, Iran has to send a message that says, I will not allow you to bully me.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's a little crack at this end, they have to do something to show you, I'm not going to allow you
and
to
that's
bully
exactly
me.
what they did.
So Heather, that thing that you spoke about with Qatar, when they send those rockets, before they send them, the Iranians, who the Americans and the Israelis are giving the impression that they're the bad people, they warned Qatar. They told them what they are going to be doing. They sent a couple of rockets. It wasn't anything grand. But the point was that they had to do some kind of thing to respond.
Yeah.
And the rockets were heading in a particular direction. And so Qatar was able now to intercept them.
And they were
able to intercept those. You understand?
And they had shut down the airspace just before it happened as well.
Exactly. So they knew what was going on.
Was coming.
If it were Israel, they would never do that. Now, I don't know what happened this morning. I read a story there as though, I think between the time of the ceasefire that Trump announced, Israel still
I hardly
attacked them.
doubt it. I hardly doubt it. There's nothing on, because I checked this morning as well. There's nothing on Iran's Twitter page, their Ministry of Defense page, or X's page rather, to state that there was an attack. They didn't do anything, and usually when they are about to do something, they put it out there before.
Exactly.
That's what they do.
They said they didn't.
Haven't.
Yeah.
They haven't.
They
put
said
out
they
any
didn't.
statement on it.
Now, anyway. Let me finish it that, because I once upon a time these people could fool me, because you just believe what they said or what they say. These are the good guys. That's why I always remember that movie Air Force One. Okay, when the American aircraft were coming next to Air Force One, and Harrison Ford says, "Oh, here comes the good guys." That's what I believe, that they're the good guys. Israel does the same thing, give you the impression that they're the good guys, right? But anyway, actions speak louder than words. Alrighty, so that's that.
But I'm hoping for a ceasefire completely. And I'm hoping that Israel decides, you know what, just to step back, because we have said this time and time again, this is now a humanitarian crisis. People are pushed out from their homes, from their communities. They're left without food, without basic necessities. And I was reading something yesterday. I still have to do some research on it. But you remember the Hunger Games?
Yes, of course.
There's something that says that Israel has started the Hunger Games, where close to the border, people are lined up for food, and they would somewhat attack them, just fire at them,
that's
and
what they're
people
doing.
are, running for cover, just to go and get something simple to
imagine
eat.
you're hungry.
Yeah.
You're starving. You're going to get food, and you're being fired upon.
Yeah.
You're being fired upon, and they will tell you, the people are acting suspiciously. What do you want them to do?
They will ask suspiciously because they don't have any weapons, they don't have any bombs, they do not know what to expect next.
Yeah.
So they will move suspiciously. It's
They
normal.
will rush. They'll do all kinds
they will
of things.
do all sorts of things.
So
It
what do you
doesn't mean that they're coming to hurt anyone. Well, anyways, oh boy.
So that's what they're doing. So a lot of people get killed on a daily basis.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just sad
when
what's
this war is over, I think this will change the face of how wars are conducted in the future, because the powers that be will have to take a serious look at what Israel has done there over the last year, going on 2 years,
Yes.
right? What
They've
they've
done a
done
lot
there,
of
they've done a lot of damage. They have broken laws. They have broken, international law.
They have, and they still continue
They're committing
to.
war crimes, all kinds of crazy things,
Yeah.
right? The United Nations will take a decision. They will ignore it completely, like it means nothing to them. Listen, a generation from now, when people start to study this war and what because let me tell you, this is history being written right now. They're going to look at this thing and say, oh, these people were crazy. Looking back at that kind of behavior, this was crazy.
I don't even think that the leader of Israel will ever be charged for anything. I highly doubt it. If that happens, it's like holding my breath.
Well,
I highly doubt it.
You may be right, and you also may be wrong, because there are lots of people who thought once upon a time they were unreachable and untouchable. And things change. Things just have a way of changing, right? And then all of a sudden now you find yourself before a court of law. It happens. It has happened.
If he's still around for it to happen, most likely, but I highly doubt he will be.
Because the International Criminal Court, they have a warrant for his arrest.
Yeah.
So any country he goes to that is signatory to the ICC,
yes.
they are under an obligation to arrest him. So right now he's very, very careful where he travels to. Very careful. Now there are those now who are his friends, like in Belarus. There's a dictator there. That's his friend. And this guy said if Netanyahu comes to his country, he will not arrest him. In fact, he said, I think he removed his country from being a member.
From being a member of the ICC and
okay,
everything
so
else.
he removed it.
Yeah.
So to me, anybody that's Netanyahu's friend, right, you are a problem. And you could see that guy. This guy is a dictator. The guy in Belarus, I forgot his name. You have a whole bunch of dissidents or people who are in opposition. They're all in jail. He's arrested all of them. They're all in jail.
What happened to that leader recently? He was going. Where was he going at the time when he was arrested?
Who?
You made mention of it a few weeks ago on the hard drive that this former leader, or was he still a leader, and he's now ill. And his daughter is asking that he be released or something. I'll have to find out more a bit later on. But you did make mention of it.
I probably
for war
did.
crimes or something of that sort.
I probably did.
And he was arrested. I think he was on his way to a country for some political event, and he was arrested. I'll have to double check.
Let me tell you, life just takes a certain turn. What you least expect to happen. Look at Muammar Gaddafi.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
This is another.
He was the ruler of his country for many years. Bashar al-Assad ruled the country. His father ruled there for how many years? He was there, and they just fall. It's just like things just happen, and then all of a sudden they find themselves in a situation where they have to be running. Okay.
And even with Gaddafi's situation, we didn't see that coming.
At all.
We didn't see that coming.
And
even how he died.
The people just rose up. They rose up.
Yeah.
Right, they were demonstrating against his rule and so on. Just so I don't know what caused that, but I said things just happened.
Things happen.
And now he was taken by surprise. And what he did now, the mistake he made, is that he now gave orders to fire fire live rounds on those demonstrators. That's the worst thing you
That's
could
the
do.
worst thing you could
These
do.
are your own people. You cannot
Time
do
and
that.
time again, I do not know why leaders insist on doing that.
They don't
And
learn.
they don't learn from
Yeah,
past
they don't learn.
experiences in other countries
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Mine will
They
be
just
different.
don't.
That's why I tell you, Netanyahu thinks that he can do this for the rest of his life, that he's well protected. But you don't know. Imagine,
never know.
you know, Gaddafi got to the point. And I know there are certain people that admire him and so on. But to
Because
be
of what he
firing
did,
on your
his rule.
people, you fire on your people, you kill how many of them, you arrested how many of them because they are demonstrating against you. Once you see that start happening, these leaders, they go crazy. You know what happened to him? He was hiding in a pipe. Right? Those pipes that maybe have sewage or something,
Yes.
a large pipe. He was hiding inside there. And then they found him. They found him. And you know what? They treated him badly, you know.
They did.
They treated him badly. Somebody took a bayonet and put it through his anus.
They did him a lot.
It was
He was
bad.
tortured.
It was bad.
He was tortured.
It was
He
really bad.
he
And
was
somebody now who they never found out shot him in his head. Some person who just got overly excited or something.
He was tortured.
Up to now, we do not know who did that.
I'm
I
sure
guess
the
that's
people
a big
around
secret.
know.
I'm
Well,
sure
not
they saw.
necessarily. When you have so many people.
Exactly, because
yeah,
it was a
it's so-
convoy
yes.
there, and they had him like a, you know,
Yeah.
they had him in chains or whatever, like a dog, right? So-
Dragging him and so on.
It was bad.
It was really bad. It
I mean,
was
to put
really bad.
a bayonet through the guy's anus, my gosh, man, what?
It was really bad.
Yeah. So the point I'm making, who would have ever thought that
He would have gotten to that.
Gaddafi would have been in that
Yeah.
situation? Bashar al-Assad, he had to run. He had to run, and so many others, because they're thinking as though they're untouchable. But life, there's a way that this thing works. I can't figure it
You
out.
see, not only that, when people revolt, when they're tired, and yesterday we spoke of slavery.
Mhm, right.
And we kind of go back there again, because after a while, when people feel like they're trapped, they can't do anything, they're speaking out, but they're silenced, they will react. And when they do, there's nothing you can do about it. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, the time has just come. I think in Egypt we saw it. In Egypt, that the Hosni Mubarak, I think his name was.
Mubarak, yes. That's what,
I think it was Hosni Mubarak, one of them there, right?
Yeah.
He had to get out, right? The thing that the tide just turns, and I'm looking forward to that day. You know, Yoav Gallant, the Israeli defense minister, he retired right now.
He's retired,
Okay, but
yeah.
he also has a warrant for his arrest right by the ICC. Benjamin Netanyahu. Now you have some other
There's
headbangers
so
inside
many,
there. There's so many of them in that Israeli
warrants.
cabinet.
Yes,
okay,
there's so many.
And the Americans now think that they're untouchable. Oh yes.
They've been like that for a very long
Yeah,
time.
you can't touch us.
They're the mighty Americans, after all.
Yeah, you know what they did there with the ICC? This imposed sanctions on the head of the organization. They imposed sanctions on the guy. The guy is doing the right thing. And listen, when he goes after the black people, they like that. The black leaders, they like it. They love it. Oh yes. One of them even said ICC was made for black leaders.
I read that statement.
Yeah, one of them
It was
said-
shocking
yeah.
of
An American
any
said that.
leader to have, put that information out there. I sometimes I don't understand what pushes a leader to not, engage his brain before he engages his mouth,
Yeah.
or
So because it's them now, the ICC is coming after Benjamin Netanyahu and these others. These are their friends now. So we're going to put sanctions on you. Okay? I think the guy's name is Karim Khan.
Karim Khan.
That's right. He's the head of the ICC. Yeah. And they even bring out his business, saying how the man involved in sexual whatever. They bring in things that have nothing to do with what's going on there.
Well, they're trying to implicate him in something, so he steps down.
Yeah,
most likely.
exactly. There was an African, I think a South African, I believe, who was heading that organization at one point in time there. And boy, I mean, they threatened that lady like crazy. Yeah, and that lady was tough. She was tough as nails. Boy, she said she ain't coming out. She was tough as nails, and they don't like that.
They don't like when people
it.
push back. Anytime
Don't like
somebody
it.
pushes back, it infuriates them
Yeah.
to regroup and do something else.
You know what Israel does as well? If you criticize them, you see like me there, you see me, I'm critical of them. Oh yes, that's what. If I were to travel to try to travel,
That's right,
I
sir.
would never be allowed inside.
If you
there.
were to travel to the U.S. right now or try to get
Let me tell
I
you,
don't think you
there
can
were
get it.
2 MPs, headed British MPs, who left Britain and went down to Israel to take a look at the situation for themselves. You know what they did, those 2 MPs?
They didn't let them
They
in.
detained them. They detained them and deported them. You know why? because these two MPs were critical.
We're very critical of what's happening.
One of them, black. One of them, the other one is kind of like half Chinese. Yeah.
I really hope that cooler heads prevail, and I've been saying this ever since. And there's this war. There's an end to it.
Well, listen. There's a war taking place there with, as you said, Ukraine and Russia. And they have all kind of things saying about the Russian president Vladimir Putin. They have all kinds of things saying about the guy. He's the worst thing ever. Okay, he's the worst thing ever. But they're friends. It's all right. It's all right. Anyway.
Isn't that how the story goes usually? If you're my friend, I'm going to defend you.
Yeah.
All the way.
Even if what
you're doing
is wrong. Yeah.
So
I'll defend
it's
you.
like that.
I'll defend you to the hilt. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying.
Yeah. That's sad. Really, really sad. Anyway.
But it's important that we stand on principle. With our beliefs, our core values and our beliefs. And if somebody is doing something that's wrong, we speak up about it. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person.
No.
Because when you stay silent and you support someone doing wrongdoing, what you're telling the person is that it's okay for you to continue what you're doing.
Exactly. I think, what's the saying? The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men or women to say nothing and do nothing. Yes, so evil triumphs.
Yes.
So you have now people who are cowering because of the might and power of these countries. They don't say anything. But I'll tell you something. Maybe a generation from now, if I last that long, another 30 years, if I last that long.
Another 30 years, most likely.
I think I'll feel pretty proud of myself to say I was on the right side of history in my approach. You understand? Because time will tell. Time will tell. Okay, and I pray to the good Lord that He's going to give me the breath of life to see the end of these fellas.
The end of it. I hope He grants you that wish as well.
I hope He does. That means I'll be about 90 something.
Maybe He might. Maybe He just might.
I think you want to make you want to be 120, yes. Right? Yes. But you can, huh?
I know I can.
You can.
Yeah. Many people have done it before. Why not me?
Well, not many.
Not many, but it's still, a few, a handful have done it before. I think I might.
Yeah, we can take a page from a couple of tortoises. You know, there's one tortoise that's 190.
190.
Another one is 135.
2 weeks ago, 135.
So 135, 190.
Yeah.
And you check them out, see how they live their life. And it's simple. That's
my one wish, that one of them. And I hope God grants it.
All right, good. So talking about granting wishes, our Father's Day promotion that was on, and that was very, very successful, if I may say so myself.
Very successful too, yes.
The listenership was high, viewership was high as well. We got quite a few prizes.
Quite a few prizes, and people participated, which
yes,
we really
people came on board.
Yeah.
People like the idea and so on. So finally, I think we put all the prizes together. And hey, by the way, I have some good news, to report. I was talking to the folks there at La Clinique de Corps yesterday, and you can get there are different phases of tests.
Okay.
Now, if you want the best of all, right, you take a certain type of test or do certain tests, right? In the case of the MRI, this one that the gentleman will actually get, because remember the person won that prize.
Yes.
Yesterday, I was speaking with the folks at La Clinique de Corps. They told me it's over $4,000.
Oh, wow.
That particular prize is actually that test is over $4,000. And I said close to $3,000.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Yes. So it's over $4,000.
Imagine getting that though. It's neat, especially now.
Yes.
There's so many individuals. You just never know. We get up and we go on our merry way, go to work, take care of our children, take care of other responsibilities, and sometimes putting finances into our medical expenses, it can be a lot. And we don't really think about it. So whoever won that prize, congratulations. And it's needed, especially now. Yeah.
Yes. So Madrina Monroe is the one who actually won that prize.
I'm just going to pass it on to someone else.
Her father.
Oh.
Her father,
great.
who's in his 80s. So it's perfect. Perfect.
Congratulations, Madrina.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So her father will get this special MRI examination done and 2 boxes of hard-on.
And there was silence.
So that was the prize. That was the prize. One of the prizes that he'll get. Of course, there are other prizes as well, including this.
Yeah, there are other prizes.
This huge
as well.
cake.
The huge cake from Angel Without Wings.
And by the way, the cake is going to be prepared for and pick them up on Thursday of this week.
Okay.
Okay. So those of you who have to collect your prizes, come to our studios, right, on Thursday of this week to collect your prizes.
Yeah.
We have all the prizes waiting for you. Again, we apologize for the little delay, but that's because the prices
we had
came
to get
from
all the prices from different parts of the island.
Yeah. Okay, so we had to get everything in because where we are today may not be where somebody else is at.
Yes.
Maybe they're out of the island.
Yeah.
All kinds of variables. All right. So this Thursday, those of you who won prizes, you could come to our studios. Be sure you come on Thursday. Even if you can't come for all the prizes, at least come and get the cake. Because it's going to be nice and fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Nice and fresh.
It's best to eat cake when it's fresh. Depending on the type of cake, though. Coconut cake when it's, a little,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. A few days.
A few days, yeah. If the person doesn't add milk to it.
Yeah. There's a way, when you see add milk to it, and you kind of like...
why would you add milk to coconut cake anyway?
I don't know. Make it moist, I guess.
Eh?
I don't know. According to you, I don't know.
I'm sure Angel Without Wings doesn't add milk to cake. Milk to coconut cake. And there's a reason why, because it doesn't last as long.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, you have cake and you have that cake there for a week, 2 weeks now. Kotea. A day that for some individuals, they bake the cake and it just...
Let me ask you something. Do you eat leftovers?
Of course.
I do. I find, we see when my grandmother used to make a bouillon. When my grandmother made bouillon, we'd be eating bouillon for the whole week, from the same pot.
Oh, really?
Because, she used natural ingredients. So the thing would last. So every day that thing stayed there, goes into the fridge, and she'd come and she'd warm it up again. That's how I became an expert warmer, I used to watch her.
Oh my goodness, no way. Yeah, I do. I think the best thing, because there's sometimes, even at home when I cook for the week.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to be cooking every day.
And there's some people that will not eat
Will not
food.
eat it. Some people get sick when they do.
Yes.
Eat leftovers, not me. I love leftovers. A bouillon is my go-to thing. Or maybe saltfish and green fig or something. Yeah.
Yes, I can sit there for days. Now, there's some people when they cook now, because the ingredients that they use, man, after one day, that thing has spoiled already. That's spoiled already.
Not even after one day. Even right here in St. Lucia, there are some restaurants you purchase food at, and you live with the food, you're back in the office.
Yeah.
Within an hour, you're trying to...
That's smelling already.
Yeah.
That was
I'm not
already.
sure what they put in there.
Well,
I'm really not sure. Maybe... I have no idea. I can't even think about it.
Yeah, they don't use the natural ingredients.
No, but still, even though you don't use the natural ingredients, maybe it could be preparation. That's one thing. And the other thing could be in the bowls or whatever. Because when people make bouillon now and you go to a lot of places, they plate it and they cover it. Why would you cover like hot food? You know what's going to happen, especially when it's lentils or peas, and you know what happens with that. Because there was some time ago, I purchased a bouillon somewhere, and by the time I got home, by the time I opened it, that was fermenting and everything, and I was like,
imagine that.
What? It was hot.
That.
I was like,
it was
what's going on with that? It wasn't even cold.
Hey.
Yeah.
Maybe they had that there for a few days already.
You think?
Yeah, well... I'm not the cook, so...
I'm not sure what goes in the food sometimes, but just cook with natural ingredients, though.
Exactly.
Because we all know what cooking with the additives would do to our bodies and stuff. There's scientific evidence to prove that. So just cook with the natural ingredients. If you can't do it, I don't know.
Yep. So talking about bouillon, today at the Tomaso bread place, today they have saltfish bouillon.
I've never had a saltfish bouillon, boy.
Neither have I.
What?
Yes, saltfish bouillon, and had a 1 pot fish broth. Yeah, 1 pot fish broth. There's some people that love that.
It has fish head?
I don't know. I'll have to. Yaslin, you better let us know, if it has fish head. Yeah.
A fish broth with fish head.
So Yaslin, if you're listening, please message me and tell me whether it has fish head.
I love
especially
fish head.
for Keena. Especially for Keena.
What else does she have?
Well, that's it for today. The saltfish bouillon and 1 pot fish broth.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I know some ladies who have that's this what they eat all the time. They say my mother used to do 1 pot. 1 pot.
1 pot is the best
And you
thing,
look at
know.
these women, right? Who I know them. They're in their 50s sometimes. These ladies look very, very well. Yeah, because that's what they always eat, especially down south and so on. On the West Coast, East Coast, when you go down there, those areas, you talk to them, they tell you that's what their mother used to give them.
That's
the
what
fish
they
broth.
have.
And
the
they look well
in it.
That's right. And they look very, very, very well. These people are.
It's also the fastest thing to prepare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a 1 pot. You just put everything in there and just, go about your business, clean around the house, do whatever you need to do, and come back, check it. And
when I was in industry, Choiseul, on the weekend, of course, I talk to people. I tell you, our signal is very powerful down there.
Yes, you did.
And we have some fans down there for sure, because they were telling me about the program. In fact, some of them wanted my number and everything, right?
Aww.
Males, not females.
I didn't say anything.
well, maybe you were saying, but somebody else is saying. So I was asking them. I said, you're like living in this community? Yeah, of course.
But why would you even?
We
them
love it
that?
here. But to me, it's so remote. It's so remote. And I asked them, when last have you been to the city? They said to me, probably we go there once a year. What?
No, but that's them. They have everything. They have a supermarket in Choiseul.
They told me so. They have Massey there.
They have so many things in Choiseul, so they don't really need to leave. They have a credit union.
Yes.
There's so many things there. So
I was told that they have a Massey, a massive Massey.
Yeah, they do.
In Choiseul, and there's another one in the town of Soufrière.
Yeah, so they don't really need to come to Catchers for anything. And if they need to, they could go to Viewfort. They have doctors there as well.
Yes.
Doctors' offices. They have everything.
He said once a year they come to the city. I was like, what?
Why would you leave and you have to come and stay in traffic for
That's true. That's true.
for hours to get from one point to the other?
Good point.
And there's so many other things that you could get there. The air is fresher.
Yes. That's true. That is really, really true. Mm-hmm. And I guess they like
Some
that kind of serene lifestyle.
The city life, they just don't want to be part of it.
So, that's why they were telling me that's how they raised, there's the 1 pot and so on. I tell you, look at these ladies and they look really, really, really well. And I'm not talking about young girls, These are people up in age already.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, they look very well. They take care of themselves. And I guess there's the fact that they live that simple life, there are benefits to that.
There are benefits.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So go try the saltfish bouillon, folks, and also the 1 pot fish broth. Yeah, man, that's real
the
food.
1 pot fish broth.
That's the real food.
Has me in a trance.
All right. So, and of course, don't forget the usual sea moss flavors, including coconut, ginger, peanut, and peanut punch, and regular sea moss with flaxseed and chia seeds.
Oh.
Yes. Anthony also makes a good
Yeah, you
sea
did
moss.
say sea moss?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about fish broth now.
Yeah, well, he cooks fish very, very well, if I may say so. Yeah, he does. He really, really does.
Oh,
and he
good.
enjoys it. He actually enjoys cooking. Well, I enjoy warming.
You and that warming thing.
So when you see he prepares it and he says, "Hey, I'm a partner. I have a little something there for you.
Something there for you.
Yeah,
so
pass and get it. Pass and get it." Imagine I have a list of things I have to do for the day. I actually write that day. Pass by Anthony.
What?
But I have to pass there. Okay. So, anything you want to mention before we move on?
Not Kelly, Sean Diddy Combs, actually, he decided not to take the stand.
Yeah, boy, I don't blame him. Huh?
I don't blame him.
No, I don't blame him at all.
And no, he had no, his
I don't blame him at all.
His legal team had no witnesses either. So the prosecution had 32, about 32 or 34. Sean Diddy Combs had none. And he decided to not testify.
Wow. So, I guess for true it makes sense, because his family can't testify on his behalf, because it's not about them saying he's a great man and he's a loving man and this sort of thing. If anything, that may happen during the sentencing phase.
Yes, most likely during the sentencing
if that
phase.
has to happen.
Well, what do you foresee happening with Sean Diddy Combs, though?
Me? I think he's going to go to jail. Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Though a lot of things that came out during trial, the first few days of it had nothing to do with what he was charged with. But later on, when the prosecution actually put forth the evidence with the witnesses and so, they tied it all together. So he's gonna go to jail.
I think so. I think so. In the case of R. Kelly, he's serving, I think, 30 years.
Yes.
for whatever charges, whether it's this and that and the other. I don't remember all the charges right now, but R. Kelly's facing 30 years, which he's serving time for that right now. And then he has another other set of charges now where he's serving 20 years.
In another state.
Yes.
State.
So when you see he's done there now
done
with
there.
his 30 years, he has to now do the 20
How
years.
old is
This
R. Kelly now?
crazy.
Isn't
This
he
is
like in
crazy.
his late 50s
Somewhere
or
around there,
something?
around there.
So
He'll be
you
an old man.
Yeah.
He'll be an old man when he gets out.
If he goes through the process, I don't know. That's, and we keep saying that all the time. You just never know. It's gonna catch up with you at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
You might think I have all the money in the world. I have the support. I have individuals who know what I'm doing, so they turn a blind eye to it.
Same thing we spoke about.
And so on.
My
And
friends.
it just hits you when you least expect.
That's
Harvey
correct.
Weinstein, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. We could go on and on and on
A
and
whole
on
bunch
and
of
on.
them.
And I'm trying to figure out, but why aren't men or women just learning from cases like that?
I think
There's so much to learn.
I think we think that we are very smart and we are smarter than other people. We can outsmart the system,
Yes.
especially if we've done it already, meaning you outsmart the system.
Nah.
You actually
You see, the system evolves over time.
Exactly.
So what might have worked for you maybe now, it's not going to work for you 2 years or 3 years later, because we evolve. Technology evolves, so many things, and people are not. Maybe it was easier to threaten someone so they do not come out openly to say what happened to them. No, maybe for a while they'll keep quiet. Eventually they will speak up.
Exactly.
Especially when you have the money. Hello.
You know, the good Lord put it like this: whatever is done in the dark must come out to light.
Yes.
It wouldn't. It may not
wouldn't,
come out in your lifetime, but it will one day.
It will.
Like for example, that weapon that was used to kill O.J. Simpson's ex-wife. They've never found it. I think one day they will find it.
Yeah,
I think
man.
one day it's gonna be found. I believe
Unless it's somebody buried it with OJ.
that. Anyway,
Not knowing.
the man is found not guilty. Yeah, they might keep that in mind.
I know.
Anyway, so this week, this Saturday, I think the Nigerian president is going to be in St. Lucia. I think that's very, very good news as to who organized that meeting or
That's
that visit.
amazing news, actually.
Listen, that is amazing news. I know for sure the Barbados Prime Minister has been pushing. And when you see the Barbados Prime Minister, Mia Motley, talks about Africa, she actually says,
She's very passionate
she actually
about
goes like
it.
this, our people.
Yes.
She's very passionate.
very
And I find that
passionate about
strange. I say, but if an African leader has to come to the Caribbean, I would imagine he'd probably head to Barbados. So I don't know how that happened.
Something happened.
I don't know how
It's
it happened.
amazing news, actually.
But bravo. This is huge because I'm sure this gentleman, the leader, the Nigerian president, his name is Bola Tinubu.
Yeah.
Bola Tinubu. He is probably going to be coming to St. Lucia bearing gifts.
They
I'm sure of
always
that.
do.
I'm
They
sure of
always
that.
do. Yeah.
I'm sure this guy will be talking about, bilateral relations.
Oh yes, most definitely
trade,
they will trade and everything
trade,
else. Yes.
What Nigeria can do for St. Lucia in terms of maybe providing scholarship. I'm just speculating. Huh?
The
Scholarship.
possibilities are endless. Endless.
And guess what? Nigeria is one of the main exporters of crude oil.
Yeah.
I think they rake in about $40-something billion a year from the export of oil.
It's
huge. It's huge. Let me tell you something. I watched the African movies today. I wasn't a big fan before, but somebody...
Nah, when it comes to movies, oh my gosh, they're on par with the United States.
Man, let me tell
and
you
other
something.
parts of the world. They're really good.
When they show, they have these snapshots of what Nigeria looks like. Listen, that place is, it's like almost like a first world country.
You know, we don't get to see all the images until if you do your research and you've traveled to any African country or you watch an African movie, you will see the difference.
Boy.
People keep thinking, they have huts and there's this Mr. Igbo. Nah, it's not always Mr. Igbo.
That's not true. There's certain parts of Africa that are like that.
That are like that.
That's just you can't.
Yes.
Not everybody's going to be rich. Not everybody.
Yeah.
But they're very fortunate, and I hope that they have good leadership over the years, leaders who will be caring about the people and not about themselves. And that's the problem.
They've had, I think Ghana, Nigeria as well, have really stepped up over the years, and they have had really great leaders.
Yeah, and that's what we need.
Yeah.
You need leaders, right, who can be firm, hear me well, who can be firm, but also they have to be kind or compassionate. That's what you need. You don't need somebody who's a strong man. All how he speaks is about a bad boy stuff. To do, being tough. And there's some of them around with that attitude.
It's important as well, because what you could tell a great leader from others, because when they believe in service to others, they act in accordance with that belief.
Yeah.
And you see it in everything that they do.
Yeah, when they care about their people. They care about their people.
Yes.
Listen, there have been leaders who the people rose up against them. And you know what they do? And that happened in Africa. There's a certain country in Africa that happened. The leader says, okay, all right. Okay, I will step aside. Just to avoid the bloodbath.
Yeah.
Some of them saying, you think you're going to rise up against me?
And what happens then?
They usually remove from office.
Oh, yeah.
So a good leader is one who loves people. I wouldn't say loves his people. He doesn't talk about America first. A good leader doesn't talk like that. A good leader talks about putting everybody first. Okay? Because the good book says, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
It's an action.
That's right.
I could say I'm putting everyone first, and there's all talk all the time. But what happens to action and service to the people of that particular country? Is everyone benefiting from it?
Especially
so that's important.
When your country is raking in so much money from oil, you have to find a way for that to trickle down to the ordinary man. You must find a way of doing that. The minute you see it's the upper echelons alone who are benefiting, you're going to lose.
Something is wrong.
You're going to lose.
You're going to lose. Yeah.
Everybody in the country has to feel, and they have to benefit from it one way or the other. That's the way it's supposed to be.
You know what? I was having this conversation with someone just weeks ago, and I was saying, back in the day, the politicians, you see them everywhere. When I was growing up, First Communion, and maybe the minister would be at that First Communion, and everybody would embrace him. A wedding, he would be there.
Yes.
A sporting event, he would be there. A funeral, he would be there.
Country
School,
Western.
they're always everywhere now. I'm not quite sure if maybe because times has changed and the portfolios are there's so many different portfolios that one minister has, and maybe they don't have enough time, but you hardly see them, people.
That's true.
You barely see them.
That is true. And it's a mistake that they're making, because when they're seeking
some
office,
of them, that is,
they make sure they go to these events.
Yeah,
they make sure they go to every place that the people are. But when you see they're in office, as you said, maybe the responsibilities
is a lot.
preclude them from attending and going to grassroots stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, as I said,
but if they were doing it before elective office, before winning, why can't they? Well, again, we go back to the point. Maybe their responsibilities
just too much.
Maybe.
Remember, they have family and so on.
Yeah.
The weekend comes, I got to spend some time with my children, my wife.
So you have to find some balance, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Of some sorts.
So to me, if maybe the best candidates would be those who are single.
Well, even they too, at some point in time, they still have to get some rest in and so on.
Yeah. Now let me make a little
point. Can't be single forever.
That's true. That's exactly. So they need to go online.
Yeah.
Yes, they can meet up somebody. So I just want to. It might seem inconsequential, but I think it's important. The Prime Minister actually took time out. I'm talking about Philip J. Pierre. Took time out to say to the public, listen, you have the visiting Nigerian president. I think he's coming on Saturday, the 28th, and the visit is going until the 4th of July. So I find he's staying for quite a few days, actually.
Oh, wow.
And he's actually telling St. Lucians to get ready for traffic.
There will be congestion and so on.
Because, once these people are, these are VIPs.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Make way. You understand? Make way. So when they're going to be on the road, most likely
the
have the
good thing is that he's come out and he's publicly said, you know what, this is happening. So he's put everyone on notice. And again, to us out there as well, sometimes we see a convoy, we don't want to move.
Exactly.
I mean, come on now, make way. He already put you on notice, make way.
Yes. So as I was saying, it might seem inconsequential, but I think it's huge that the Prime Minister has actually taken the time to say, to be ready for these traffic delays and interruptions and so on. I found that to be quite cool, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the typical leader wouldn't even bother to explain something like that. You figure it's just, say, there's an old saying, anyway, I don't remember the saying right now, that it's like you should expect it.
Okay.
Right?
So I'm sure the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or maybe the Prime Minister's office in the coming days will, put out, a press release or giving us, information. Well, not everything, because after all, he has to be protected somewhat as well. So not everything will be privy to the public. So whatever is necessary that we would use, depending on where, then I guess we will have that information.
Now, I rather suspect, I don't think the Prime Minister said so, or maybe he did in some other fora, that other Caribbean leaders will be in St. Lucia.
I'm sure they will.
Yes, to take advantage.
Who's going to miss out on that?
Boy, this is huge.
I'm sure
they
will.
So no doubt, maybe the Barbados Prime Minister may be
Grenada
here.
Prime Minister as well, and some of the leaders within the region will be here as well. I'm sure.
And if the leaders can't come, I'm sure they'll send a representative.
Yes.
So this is good. It's good for our tourism.
Yeah, man.
Our tourism, I'm sure they're going to be around spending money and so on, hopefully.
And I'm sure he's maybe going to get a tour of St. Lucia. I think that's definitely going to happen too. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Mr. Prime Minister, bring the man by one of my old school parties.
Yeah. Did I laugh? I need to laugh again.
Let the man experience a little country and western.
A little country and western.
Yeah, man. Bring him inside there. I'm sure he'll fit in quite nicely.
Where more? Of all things.
Why not?
You didn't say, okay, Mr. Prime Minister, bring him over, experience. Well, you never know.
And I'm sure they will give him Lucian food.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And which I'm sure they used to it already anyway. The dashing and the yam and the plantain and those kinds of things.
Yeah, but it's different. Our cooking is very different somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm sure he will experience everything.
Yeah, man.
Especially our local,
Yeah, so Nigeria is a fairly stable country.
Yeah, it is.
There's no Roro taking place
war
over
taking
there.
place.
So that's good.
So
that helps in you building your country and taking your country from A to Z.
Oh yeah.
And especially with that oil money, 43 point something billion US dollars a year. Wait. Guyana is up there as well.
Guyana is up there as well. Yeah, they're doing really well.
Yeah, so let's hope that that Guyana now will share. And I believe that the president that they have there, Ofanali, I think he's that kind of guy.
Yeah,
I think he's a guy who wants to share resources and because the Ghana is going to be. Let me tell you, in the next few years,
let me tell you, man, Ghana is going to be like little US.
Yeah, one time Trinidad was like that. But again, when you read about like even right now, there's a story that I read a few days ago, how much money was paid to friends, family, and foreigners. In Trinidad.
Oh, really?
Kind of large under the last administration. The current administration now, I think the Attorney General gives some figures, right? They were paid how many people, that these are their friends, and they
paid to them for what exactly?
Well, for whatever jobs that they have, whatever, they give them contracts and things like that, right?
You hear that happening all the time. I'm just so tired of hearing.
They have their friends. Okay, and what they do, they take care of their friends. And sometimes, too, they themselves benefit from taking care of their friends, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay? So when they do something which is not illegal, right? It is quite legal. You pass work on to your friend.
Your friend.
You pass work on to your friend. Because, listen, your friend has to eat. Correct?
And then you have to eat, too.
Yeah, your friend has to eat. Your friend has to make a living.
But it's unfair. It's unfair.
No. It's not. It's unfair. It's just that the optics.
Okay.
Because listen, he has to eat. Not because he's my friend, that means I can't give him a job. You understand?
You can give him a job, but
the optics.
Share a love. As the young ones would say, share a love.
Well, yeah.
So you give him you've given that individual the contract one time. Okay. To somebody else.
Yeah, give it to my other friend.
Look it.
Yeah, I'll give it to my other friend. Okay, so when that friend now is being treated rightly.
But Andre, would you do the same?
No. But I've said so already. I mean, Tony gets irked at me for saying that. I've said it already. If I was the Prime Minister or Minister responsible for broadcasting, and I have to give a job to maybe an individual to manage government-owned radio station, just an example, right? because of the optics, the way it will look, I will not give it to my brother. Okay, I'll give it to somebody
I have
else.
to agree with that as
Yeah,
well.
because the way it looks.
Yeah.
Now, the politicians don't seem to care about that much. They don't care how it looks. They're just doing their
But
thing.
in their eyes as well, it could be my brother or whoever is just as qualified as the other person.
Now, exactly. That's what I was saying to you a while ago, that the friend has to eat.
Yeah.
So
for them, it could be that.
So the friend has to eat. My brother has to eat as well. But it's the optics of those things.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it's nothing untoward,
Yeah.
but it's just the way it looks.
It's the way it looks.
But they
yeah.
don't care. They don't care. If you go, well, boy, you know what I mean? I got to do what I got to do, and that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's hope that this is going to be a great visit, and
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
we can
it
really
will.
take advantage of
It
it.
will.
Okay. All right.
And it will have tremendous benefits for St. Lucia as well. So
There's a historian called Dr. Anthea Octave, and she was giving a sort of historical perspective of Carnival in St. Lucia, and she was saying stuff about how it is. It's like, in other words, it's not much more than just a vibe. She spoke about it's a phenomena. It's artistic, it's political, it's economic, it's spiritual. She spoke about all of that stuff, right? Now, let me ask you something, Keena. Do you believe now, folks? I'm not saying, you know, we're not supposed to be observing our carnival. That's you. You know, you want to do your vibe. That is you. So I'm just talking to Keena there right now. Let me ask you, Keena. Do you think there's spiritually, right, that we should not be engaging in carnival, in revelry? Do you think that this is something as a Christian society? Now, as I said to you folks, let me put a caveat there very, very quickly. This is our culture. I'm not saying to stop carnival. That's not what I'm saying at all, right? It is what it is. A lot of people benefit from carnival. In fact, the country's economy, I mean, you get a boom, a boost, massive boost from carnival time. A lot of people who make money from carnival. So I will not knock that at all. However, I'm still asking the question. From God's perspective, what do you think his views are on that, the issue of revelry? Let me ask you, because I know you're a Bible lady. So
from God's perspective, he doesn't know. It's a no from his perspective. So there's no going any further into that. If you want to bring God into it, it's a no from his perspective.
Now, I did a little checking this morning. Let me see if it's still there. I did some checking this morning, you know. Oh, so that oh, right, it's there. I checked Meta AI.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do tell.
Artificial intelligence. Now, folks, I know we don't want to hear that, you know, but here's what the good Lord says about it. The Bible mentions revelry in several contexts, often warning against excessive or sinful behavior. Here's some relevant passages. This is Paul, and listen to what Paul is saying. Let us walk properly, as in the daytime, not in revelry. So it's clear. What does that say there? He said, not in revelry.
Not in revelry.
That means we're not supposed to be involved in revelry. Okay? And drunkenness. And we know
and that's
that
what happens
revelry
around.
and drunkenness go together.
Hand in hand.
Okay?
Go together, yeah.
Right. It spoke about licentiousness, etc., etc. He spoke about, greed, drunkenness, robbery. He even went further to say, if you have a friend that's involved in that kind of thing, you should separate yourself from that friend. Imagine that.
Yeah, but if we have to also go back to what she says as well, there's a history in Carnival and when it all started.
Yes, we understand all of that.
And all of that.
We understand all
aspects
that.
of it.
We
The
just go
slaves,
into-
did they know the Bible then?
We just go in from what I asked the question. I just asked the question. I understand where you're going. I know you want to defend it. No problem with that. No problem. I'm just telling you, let's just take a look at it because she spoke about the spiritual element.
Yeah.
She said about the spiritual element. So we're exploring the spiritual element. And I suspect that's not what she was talking about at all when she spoke about spiritual element. She's talking about something else. I don't think she's talking about what Paul had to say about it, right? So it continues. The sexual immorality, right, which is part of this thing. Impurity, right? Let me see, idolatry. He spoke about factions and envy and drunkenness, orgies and the like. And he says, as I told you before, I warn you, those who practice those things, hear that, will not inherit the kingdom of God. So if we're practicing those things, it's saying to us, we will not inherit the kingdom of God. So since she spoke about the spiritual element, I decided to bring this up. Okay? That is what Paul says, and Paul is speaking on behalf. Paul is like a spokesperson for God. So he's saying if we involve in those kinds of things, we do not qualify for the kingdom. What's your take on that? Do you reject that, Keena?
No, I don't. I don't reject.
Do you reject what Paul is saying there?
No,
you reject that?
No, I don't.
Yeah?
I actually don't take part in anything cannibal.
Yeah.
I used to, maybe not entirely, but I have in the past maybe gone to an event or something. I jumped maybe once or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't raised that way, not because of a spiritual aspect, but we were pretty much so reserved in our family and so on. Not all of us would take part in carnival,
Mm-hmm.
and I respect anyone who does. But for me, no, I don't. I don't beat it down. I actually play the music. I listen to the songs and so on. But there's certain things that I just don't do.
Yes. And that's where the issue of repentance comes into play. That one day we have to get to the point where we say, something? You see this kind of behavior, this thing there, me drinking rum to excess, right? Abusing alcohol, the debauchery, the drunkenness, the revelry, the sexual immorality, right? We get to the point now we say, something? I've had enough of it. I've had enough. And I know many, many people who have come to that point. Many.
And if there are people out there that still do it, they still do it for fun or whatever else, other reasons they may have. And at some point in time, maybe as you get older, you change,
Mm-hmm.
Things, you view things differently. And eventually some people will make that decision and be like, I don't want to do that anymore. But till then,
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead
and enjoy your thing. Yeah, but I just thought I should just mention that. I think it was important. Okay, Jussie Smollett, finally. Jussie Smollett, the actor.
Jussie Smollett.
He proposed to his boyfriend. Yes, his name is Jabari, I think. Jabari, let me forget his name, his real name.
Jussie Smollett.
His name is Jabari Redd, R-E-D-D. So he proposed to his boyfriend. They said that he actually went down on one knee.
Ooh, go Jussie.
He went down on one knee, and he was actually slipping the ring onto the boyfriend's finger and so on. And the boyfriend said, yes, I do accept. So they're going to get married eventually. Yeah. So I think he did it on the occasion of his 43rd birthday. He was celebrating his 43rd birthday.
You go, Jussie.
And then he decided to propose to his boyfriend.
Congratulations.
When I read those things,
happy?
Sorry. Well, I mean, that's the people and their choice. But I'm saying, I don't know, is that has become so natural and accepted that, I mean, you can be so comfortable, right, doing that with male, and to go down your knees and just what we do for a female. To me, boy, you have to come a long way, in terms of where you are mentally to accept that as being normal behavior. That takes, I don't know, boy, wow.
It takes a lot to come out publicly for individuals who have hidden that side of them for a while. So to get to that point takes a lot. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember I was interviewing two gay individuals. I was at Radio 100, and one was white, one was black, and one of them was actually a pastor. Okay, he was pastoring some church, and I said to him,
gay?
and he's gay, and I said to him, you realize that what you're doing there is contrary to the Bible that you suppose. You say this is your book for living and so on, and you're telling your people what is right, what is wrong. I said, you realize that it actually contradicts what you're doing there. I actually said that to him.
And what was his response?
And let me tell you, the man was in another place. He said to me that the Bible doesn't say that. It doesn't say. I said, but I can read it to you. I read it to him. He said to me, that's not what it means.
What does it mean then?
Well,
what you read to him, what does it mean?
That's what I was saying to you. Their minds are already so cooked. They already made up. That's why I tell you, Smollett has to come to the place where he can feel so comfortable acting like that as a male.
But even with the Bible as well, and going back to it, we all could have different meanings, take different things from what that scripture really says. So for you, someone could say an eye for an eye in the Bible, or quote that scripture, and it means that particular thing to them. For someone else, it means and something entirely different. And people have the tendency to use certain scriptures in the Bible to serve their narratives and really bring forth that narrative that they're trying to push across. So everyone is different. You know?
But there's some things that are just black and white.
Yes, there's some things that are just black and white.
If you tell somebody thou shalt not murder, that's plain.
Yeah.
Where you want to interpret that some other way? I don't know. Help me out there. Do you think you can interpret that some other way?
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is just clear. So I'm saying when I spoke to those two individuals, and it's like they're at a place where they block their minds to anything coming in there that would disrupt the way that they have now conditioned themselves. They just reject it.
But the good thing is, even after rejection, and the Bible speaks of that as well, when the person comes to a point where they, some would have gone to God and say, you know what, I repent. You know, God accepts them, and God is always waiting. So that's the most amazing thing about God.
Let me give you a final story before we get into the shout-outs. I was talking to a particular person who accepts Haile Selassie as his God, as his Jesus.
Right.
I had an interview with that individual. I won't say who it is, right? So I was speaking with him, and I said to him, are you aware that there is information out there to show that Haile Selassie said he is not a God. I said to him, there is information, and I read the information to him. Haile Selassie saying, I am not a God. He says, people, whoever want to look at me like that, I am not any God. That you can find that. Just go and Google it. You'll see exactly where he made that speech, where he said it. You know what he said to me? He said, you read that there? I said, yeah, these are facts. He said to me, I reject that.
He's not ready to accept it.
Yeah,
And
because
like
Haile Selassie is his God.
What they've read.
And Haile Selassie is saying, I'm nobody's God. I read it to him. He said, you found that? Wait. I told him exactly where I found it, right? He said, well, I reject that.
He's not ready. He's not in a place yet. So it's okay to say, hey, well, you know what? There's evidence to prove that that's not the case, but based on what the person was
in other words,
told,
my mind is already
their mind has
blocked.
already been set and blocked. So
that's what I was saying
anything else that you're going to come with, they're not receptive.
So that's what I was saying about the Jussie Smollett. You have to be at a certain place for you to act like that. Go down on your knees and this kind of thing, right? And this is normal behavior for you. Anyway, all right. Let's get into the shout-outs.
Okay, good morning. So we're going to the Facebook platform first. Pius Snappy Yeman was the first to chime in. He says, good morning. Good morning, Pius. Good morning, kisses. Mwah.
Morning, Pius.
Sharon Peter, she says, happy Tuesday, Tony. Good morning, Sharon. He's not here, but kisses from Tony. Mwah. Pius Snappy returned and says, Rev-Up. Sharon Peter says, Keena, good morning. Sharon Peter says, John Fabian, Sava. Dream Queen Augustine says, good morning, my Rev-Up family. Good morning,
Dream Queen?
Yes.
Is that a new person?
Yeah, I believe so.
Hey,
she
morning.
did chime in yesterday. And
that was Drama Queen,
actually.
Right.
It's my era.
So
it's Drama Queen. It's my era. It's Drama Queen.
Yeah, Dream Queen.
Drama Queen. Thanks for that. Septima Joseph says, good morning. Dakota McQuire, Cleveland Sealy says, good morning.
Morning, Dakota.
Love. Good morning, Dakota. Josie Stevens says, good morning, Rev-Up. Good morning, Josie. Martha's Shop says, pleasant day, Mr. Andre, lovely Keena. Stay amazing. Fantastic day, Mr. Tony. Bonjour, everyone. Peace and love. And if you see the peace sign.
Yes, let's say good morning to the folks
Good morning,
at
Martha.
Martha's Shop. Yes. Thanks a lot for keeping in touch, and hopefully all is well at the shop, that you guys have customers in there, and that you're doing very, very well.
And she's located in Monrepo, right?
Yes, that's what she said, that you guys are doing very, very well. Okay, I wish that upon you. And all other people who have these small businesses and so on, blessings upon you.
Good one. Day Francis Obey says, blessed morning, everyone. Good morning, Day. Christine Shallery says, blessed Tuesday to you both. Thanks, Christine. Kisses. Mwah. Nancy Gracelyn says, good morning, my favorite people. Tony, I miss you. Good thing it's not Monday, because I wouldn't believe you were on any special assignment. Good morning, Nancy. Nancy continued and she says, Andre, these world leaders don't care about us. War is business for them. They don't have any conscience.
Yeah. Remember, you have to get to a certain place.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, even the Bible tells you that their conscience is seared with a hot iron.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a soldering iron.
Mhm.
And, you solder this thing there, and
Yes.
that's seared. It's a passion, no matter what.
No matter what, it's not going to
That's
change.
a scary place to
Very
be, boy.
scary.
Scary place to be.
John Shallery says, good morning, Andre, Tony, Keena, and everyone listening. She says, hearts and kisses. Kisses right back, Joan. Mwah. She continued and she says, good morning, Andre, Tony, Keena, and everyone listening. Thanks for the kisses. Mwah. Elsa Hebelit says, greetings, Andre, Keena, and all in the chat room, not forgetting Tony. Have an amazing day. John McCurdy says, good morning, Rev-Up family. Listening. Good morning, John. Happy Tuesday. Pearl Food Baby Henry says, good morning and happy Tuesday to everyone in the chat room. To you, the Rev-Up host, good morning as well. Good morning, Pearl. Happy Tuesday. Barbara Augustine says, my favorite people, good morning. My brother Tony Paul, I'm missing your presence. All in the chat room, good morning. Lucita Jean-Pierre says, good morning, Andre. Beautiful Keena. Jerome, where you at? Do that assignment right. Happy Tuesday to all. Good morning, Lucita. She continued and she says, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday, Shidalek. Special greetings to Pato, my sister, D. Francis Obeys. Good day to all. Roma Edmond chimed in. She says, good morning. The Bible speaks about wars in the end of time. This just the beginning of things to come. We have seen nothing yet. More to come.
All right, Roma. Thank you.
Lord Cote says, big up Rev-Up St. Lucia. She subjects choops. Westy Duet. Good morning, Westy Duet. How you doing? He says, good morning to my people. Josie Stevens says, keep dreaming. Not sure what she or he is referring to. Westy Duet says, good morning, Keena. Blessings to you. Good morning, Westy Duet. She Chubb says, UNC will deal with the PNM.
Oh.
I said Trinidad.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, boy. Kamala not playing, huh?
Oh, yes. Wested Wed chimed in and says, FFF, that sounds familiar with an administration. FFF?
Yeah, friends, family, foreigners.
Oh. Okay. She Chum says,
But they both sides accusing the other the same
oh,
thing,
yeah,
by the
they
way.
always do.
By the way. Yeah.
Time and time again.
Mm.
She Chum says, hear what you're saying, Andre. I'm not quite sure what she's referring to. That was 17 minutes ago. Wested Wet Richard, he chimed in, I say who wants to celebrate, let them be. But as it may, people will be. We are never going to get everyone to be Christian. Thank you, Wested Wet. Wested Wet also returned. He commented on that pastor, and he said, that ain't no pastor.
It's macaroni.
Andre, sure, stop. I don't want to laugh right now. I'm trying to hold a laugh this morning. I wasn't ready. Anyways, okay. Lorena Mena says, hey guys, good morning. Blessed, beautiful Nancy. No.
Good morning, Lorena. Good morning, Lorena.
You call a pastor a macaroni? Okay, back to regular programming. Lorena Mena says, hey guys, good morning. Blessed and beautiful day to you. Guys, Kiki, Tony, and Andre, may you have a productive day. Thank you. Ahead. I listen to you guys every day, blessed. God has given to me from the time I wake up till the time I go to work. And when I'm not at work, I listen to you guys from time to time. I wake up till 4:30. So she's listening till 4:50 p.m. Pretty much that's what she's saying.
Thank you so much, Lorena.
Thank you so much, Lorena. We appreciate you and kisses. Mwah.
Mm-hmm.
So Wested Wet agreed with you, and he says their minds are seared like an iron.
Yeah.
Lord Cote said, big up, always listening. Y'all never mention me. Lord Cote, but you just said hi, and we responded, okay, since we never mentioned you, I'm sorry. Mwah, 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 mwah. You feel better now? Here's another one. Mwah. Luther Alce says, good morning to Andre and Empress Keena. God bless. Luther went on to say, where is Tony this morning? Oh, Luther, he's on
Special assignment.
Oliver Lawrence says, let's congratulate
my
all
partner.
participants of Olympic Walk 2025.
All right, Oliver. That's an old buddy of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So that's the
An
last.
old-time buddy of mine.
That's over 20 years, right?
That's right. That's a long time we've known each other.
Wow. Wow. So moving on to the WhatsApp platform now, we're going on to some chats are still loading. So someone, I'm not quite sure who this person is, was the first to chime in. Let's see. Joanna chimed in. She says, "Blessed morning, Rev-Up family, Tony, Andre, and Kiki. Always a pleasure listening to you guys. Best radio station in St. Lucia.
Ooh, wow.
See you guys soon." Joanna. Mwah.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Someone else.
When she said "see you guys soon," what does she mean?
She's she's in the U.S.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
she must be visiting St. Lucia
very soon.
at some point in time.
Very
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Very
come
soon.
pay us a visit, man. Yeah. All right.
And I'm sure she has surprises up her sleeve as well.
I hope so.
So thank you so much, Joanna, for your comment. We appreciate you and thanks for listening. Mwah. Someone else chimed in, and let's see who that is. Cynthia Spencer, she said, "Good morning to my favorite people, Cynthia Spencer and Kathleen Francis from DBS Television are watching and enjoying your program each day. Love always."
Thank you.
Cynthia
Thank you
Spencer,
very much,
Kathleen
Cynthia.
Francis.
Mhm.
Good morning to you guys as well. Kisses. Mwah. Someone else chimed in and said, let's see. "Good morning, guys." Let's see. Oh, that individual is from the UK. Terry chimed in. Terry says, "Good morning, guys. Once again, I want to compliment you guys for always keeping me interested in all your programs except..." Oh, okay. "Whether it's the government or opposition, I want to learn something at the end of the day and not all biased information. Keep up the good work, guys. I'm always locked down in the diaspora." Thank you so much, Terry. We love you. Thanks for chiming in. Kisses. Mwah. So, okay, let's go to... Okay, moving on. Someone else chimed in. Let's see who it is. Darius said, "Morning, do you have a number for the saltfish and fish broth?"
Yes, we do. Mhm.
Okay, can you give that number? I'll text them now.
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Oh, give it to me. I will text it here on WhatsApp.
But it's on the public number, so.
Oh, it's not a public number.
Right,
Okay.
so I can send it to
I'll
you.
get back to
Yeah.
you with that information, and I'll send you the text message with that number. Okay, moving on. Someone else chimed in and says, "Good morning, Andre and Keena. The ministers at their ministries see about policy. The work of the ministries are implementing policy is done by the permanent secretaries and the technocrats in the ministries together with civil servants." Thank you so much for chiming in. Good morning. Kisses. Someone else chimed in and said, let's see who that is. Vel. She chimed in. She says, "Andre, I think some people just rather remain ignorant in their ignorance. Thank God for open-minded people like us." Nicholas Shallery chimed in. "It's been a while, Nicholas." Okay. He said, "Rev-Up, my brother and sister from another mother. I'm in the house, always listening. Andre, I enjoyed the Love Zone this morning. P.S. Hi, Keena. Kisses and hugs to you." Nicholas, où va?
You
Good
come
morning,
back, you
Nicholas.
come
Thanks
back.
for the kisses. Mwah.
Yes, hope all is well, partner. Always nice hearing from you.
Kisses. And guess who chimed in this morning? It's been a while. Luther Henry.
Yeah,
chimed
Lex
in. Good
Luthor.
morning.
Lex Luthor.
He chimed in and he says, "Good morning to Rev-Up family. Are there any Nollywood actors coming down with the Nigerian president?"
I wonder. Good question.
Nope.
Maybe.
I doubt.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows what
Nollywood actors?
who his entourage will include.
Well, we'll find out soon.
Yes.
We'll find out.
I sent you the number, by the way.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Go back to this individual. Okay, that person. So that's the last person to chime in, actually. Luther, actually. So we're done with the WhatsApp platform and Facebook platform.
Do you know who the character Lex Luthor is? You know where that's
it
from?
sounds familiar, but I can't. Oh, Ivy Jr. just chimed. No.
It's from Superman, the movie Superman. He was the main the villain in the Superman series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think at least the first sets of Superman movies, he was the villain, and I think that changed after a while. So
Okay.
there were other villains, but for quite a while it was Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I
Yes.
can't remember much about the Superman.
Yeah, that was his
movies,
name,
though.
Lex Luthor.
Except for Kryptonite.
Yeah, Superman's weakness.
So Terry it is. Darius, I sent you the number on WhatsApp so you could order your saltfish and your fish broth, okay? So Luther Henry says, thank you, family. Ivy Jr. chimed in and she says, good morning, Andre and Keena. Can't wait to enjoy your entertaining music, Keena. From Andre this morning to Keena until 3 p.m. Sending lots of kisses.
And Hypergina is an early riser because
really?
she listens to the inspirational music. She's already tuned in at that time.
Oh, wow.
Yes, she actually messages and tell, she enjoyed the session. She enjoyed listening to this and that. I was like, what?
Ivy. Good morning, Ivy. He says,
let me use the opportunity to let our listeners know that Pastor Yanrick Joseph is going to be live in studio this coming Friday. Now, normally he calls into the show between 5 and 10 minutes after 5.
Okay.
Because he does the morning devotion. But this coming Friday, he and every last Friday in the month, he'll be coming to the studio live. So to take maybe your calls,
great.
you have your requests, prayer requests.
Ooh, I
right?
love the sound of that.
That sort of thing.
Yeah,
yes.
something
So
different.
if you're going through some issue, some problem, he'll be there to pray for you. I think when he discussed that with me, I think that was such a cool idea.
I think it's a cool idea too.
Yes. So he'll be in studio from 5 to about 5:30. We'll preempt the
a.m.?
Yes.
Okay.
I know for you that's an ungodly hour.
No. I just wanted to make sure. 5 to 5 a.m.
5 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. the last Friday in every month. Pastor Yanrick Joseph will be in studio.
That's great. That's
right?
amazing.
And I'm sure people are going to have testimonies as well.
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, because that's a big part of the faith, that you have your testimony, your story to tell.
Yeah, and you'll be able to call in and share it.
And
with
share
us.
that. Yeah. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I've asked him to put together a promo for that aspect of the program. So he's working on that.
Great.
As we speak.
I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Big things are going.
Yes. That's right. That's right, man. Okay, so Keena, what do you have coming up on the show today?
I'll be following the Didi's case because I think it ends on closing arguments ends on Thursday. So I'll be giving listeners telling them what's happening with the case today, tomorrow, but giving them updates as well.
I wonder, because sometimes you can feel a vibe. I wonder what vibe he's feeling right now. Whether he senses he'll be found guilty or not guilty. I wonder
maybe he's hoping for the best. To sit there and to have people that have been with you for a number of years or maybe just a few months, and to have them actually relieve instances where you may have hurt them or caused trauma in different ways. That alone actually must have sent chills down his spine, knowing I'm finally caught. But I think as well, he's still hoping for the best.
Yeah.
I think he's still hoping for the best.
Because sometimes you can feel a vibe. You can kind of feel where things are going. Yeah. Although we play tricks with ourselves.
Yeah.
We know it's going in a particular direction, and we try to think it in another way, saying, okay, if I think positively, then
maybe there's hope, and as well,
there's
especially if the person have turned to prayer.
Yeah.
Because sometimes individuals turn to God when everything is at the point of just it's so chaotic around them and it's crumbling. So at that time they turn to God, thinking that, hey, God is going to really save me now, and maybe he's just letting you marinate in your chaos for now, and then he's going to come around and be like, okay, you've now understood what you've done and the impact of what you've done, so now it's your time to heal. You have to go through the process somewhat.
And if you're aware of that, there's a case against his son as well, where his son is being an elder son of his. I don't remember the name right now, but he's been accused of sexual assault. And part of the case, where Didi is concerned, the allegations are that Didi was right there.
I haven't
egging him on
to.
So Didi was. That's what the allegations are, that he was right there and basically encouraging the boy to sexually assault this particular person. That's a case that's supposed to be coming up.
Well, based on everything that we've heard,
you heard that? Have you heard that?
I heard something. I read something rather. So yeah, I thought that had died out.
Well, unless of course they withdrew the case.
I read something about that months ago, but I guess maybe because Didi's case took precedence, so you don't really hear about it.
Exactly.
So maybe that's one of the reasons. But if that individual is still pursuing the case, I'm assuming that soon after Diddy's own is done, then.
And listen, just confirm, is his family still coming to court every day to support him?
Yeah, they're still coming and supporting
Yeah.
supporting him. And Kanye West was the only celebrity that came to court. And I think one of his son's mom, who's a former, a singer, she was there as well. And she said openly when people were chastising her for her decision to go to court, she said that, you know what, she did it for her son, not for Diddy, but for her son. Kanye West went in, I think, last week. He was in court. He didn't last long. After 10 minutes, he was gone. Yeah, but he showed his support. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But other celebrities, Jay-Z, the Justin Biebers, everyone that was around, Sean
Sorry.
Combs, they were not there. And over the weekend, too, both Oprah Winfrey and Diddy Jakes, they came out publicly and said they knew they were never at any Diddy's freak-offs. So Diddy Jakes actually said that there was one time he went to Diddy's birthday party, and it was just a photo, and people went and they said whatever, so many things about him, and he was never at any of Diddy's freak-offs or anything of that sort. And Oprah Winfrey also chimed in, and she said, no, people associated her with Diddy, but no.
You know, if I'm going to go through something like that, I will dissuade my family from coming
I would
to court.
do the same.
I mean, I know it kind of assists a little because to show that your family is supporting you. But to see your children have to hear solid details and so on, and to see your father in the dock there.
And your mom as well.
Wow.
Your mom was there. His family was there.
Whether I'm guilty, innocent, I don't want to put my family through that.
It's tough on any family or friend having to go through a court hearing, just having to get ready and go to court on a daily basis, and the things that, especially on both sides, whether it be the prosecution or defense, it could be heartbreaking. And then I wonder if you end up looking at the person like, wait, you did that? Okay. That's who you really are. I wonder if there is any time that happens.
During the court, the proceedings, they actually showed the video of the freak-offs. They actually showed that in court.
Why would you be recording that, though?
Well, again, when we're arrogant, we think we can get away with it.
And the freak-offs were pretty, oh boy.
Yeah, imagine to watch that in court.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There was one witness that said Cassie actually said one of the freak-offs lasted days.
So this fellas didn't have a life, man.
Days, like days. And that's all she was doing. Days.
They have a job.
She never really took a break. And there was another young woman who said, I think she's called John Doe, but a rapper that she was with has publicly come out and say, well, I know who John Doe is. She's the mother of my child. That rapper is always, taking a dig at other individuals, 50 Cent. And she also came out and said that a lot of the times P. Diddy was pretty much love bombing. So anytime that she pulled away and he wanted her to be part of a freak off, he would come around, love bomb her, and she would go back, and then, oh my gosh, the freak offs were really, really bad.
I really wonder how it was for them. In fact, I guess maybe I could understand that maybe you work really, really hard at something. Okay, then you see the fruits of your labor, right? You do your recordings, all the hard work that goes through a recording and everything, right. And then you finally you get the millions are coming in, right? You actually start coming in. I guess you take a little break. You take a break, from the usual hard work. You say, something, man, let me just chill and enjoy some of the fruits of my labor. And I guess maybe that's what he used that time to do.
Freak offs?
Yeah.
Can't you go travel somewhere?
They travel every time, so they get tired of those things.
Yeah, but then still, I think when you hear things of that sort, I think it goes back, and I think P. Diddy, that guy, he must have been abused as a child.
Probably.
He must have. Some of the things I'm hearing, I know people have their weird, kind of way and certain things that they want to do. But beyond that and some of the things that came out in the courtroom, or maybe sometimes having all that money in the world makes you just think, okay, you know what, I want to experiment. But a lot of the times, P. Diddy wasn't really, he was just sitting there. He was just watching Cassie or whoever doing whatever. Yeah. He was never the one paying anyone. Actually, Cassie actually said that she was the one paying maybe the sex workers and so on. P. Diddy never touched any money, never gave anyone any money. He would just maybe just be sitting there the whole time.
There's some people like that. They get turned on from watching.
That's all he did.
Yeah.
But again, you know, I don't know. For me, Andre, when I look at it, I'm thinking, you know what? Sometimes you just never know someone because you fall in love and you don't see the signs of them, you know, wanting or having that side of them. At the first sight of doing anything that I'm gone. A lot of times people say, you know what, I did it because I love him, or I did it because I love her. And that's where the issue is, because you're doing things because you love that person. But what about yourself and your integrity and what you want? So you pretty much get it to the point where, you know what, I'm going to put myself on the side here, and I'm just going to continue doing things that I do not want to do. I do not want to be part of. And we're focusing solely on freak-offs here, you know, that sort of stuff. But I don't know, I can't really beat somebody down because that happens. I guess they have to find themselves in that right space, frame of mind, where they say to themselves, you know what, I'm not going to accept this, and I'm going to walk away from it.
A guy told me one time that he's done, almost anything you could imagine with during his sex life and so on. And he said to me, there's one more thing that he has to do. And he said he must do that one before he dies. He said he wants to watch a guy have sex with his girlfriend.
Huh?
Yeah, he says if he can take that, he can take anything. Those are his words to me. And he was serious.
Sure?
Yes, he was dead serious when he said that. He said that's the ultimate thing for him, to watch a guy have sexual relations with his girlfriend. So for guys like P. Diddy, he said he gets a high from watching people.
That's a different kind of set of people.
Yeah, another level.
That's
completely.
another whole level.
Yeah.
I'm not. Okay.
So,
okay.
What else do you have coming up? You said
there's a major shakeup with the West Indies cricket, and I'll look at what's happening behind the change and who's lined up to step up and take that responsibility. Also, there's a country in the world that has nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Really?
Yep.
Sure, that's not fake news.
Our papa. And what scientists are saying, if you just miss 3 nights of sleep, what it's doing to your heart. So we'll touch on that as well. Drive safe, live safe. And today's focus is the danger of distracted driving. Whether you're on the phone, doing your hair, putting makeup, or just, slowing down on the road, distracted driving. We'll focus on that. The Rev-Up Slu News with Andre Paul at 1 p.m. The hit of the day at 12:45. The riddle of the day at 11:45, and the Wanted Wonder as well. And as well, great music.
Okay, so that's coming up on the Rev-Up Center with Keena. She'll be with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. As always, Zen the DJ. Yes, he'll be here from 3 o'clock until 6 this evening. Then from 6 until 7, God willing, I'll be back here for Doctor in the House between 6 and 7. Doctor in the House, I can tell you, it's really gaining popularity.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people are showing interest in the program, including sponsors.
Oh, great. And
That's
what's the topic for
thing.
today?
I'm not sure what he's going to be talking about.
Perfect.
Yes, but he's usually something that is interesting.
That's great.
Usually.
That's great.
Yes, so that's Doctor in the House with Dr. Leonard Suraj from 6 until 7 this evening. So, Keena, have yourself a great show.
Thank you, Andre, and have yourself a great day.
And
to the listeners and viewers out there, good morning. Thank you so much for making Rev-Up Slu your station of choice. We love you so much as well, and kisses. Mwah. And to DBS as well.
Yes, DBS, thank you. Thank you very much.
Coming on board.
Those of you on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X, thank you so much. God willing, Tony will be back with us tomorrow, Wednesday. Alrighty? So enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Dax, Castries, Grosley, and Rodney Bay. You want to wine and dine? I'll give you the facts. The best cuisine and entertainment is at Dax. Alex is all karaoke every Thursday. Old school and